Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm back with one more interview video, and in this video I'm going to interview a candidate having 4+ years of experience working with Java technologies. So he is currently working as a software engineer in a good service-based organization, and he is currently working on a project where he is using Java 11, Spring, JPA, and microservices, RESTful APIs, and somewhere long databases. So this was his tech stack. And before we move on to the video where I recorded the entire session, if you are new to my channel, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. Now let's see the entire video, and after the recorded video is over, don't go anywhere. I'm going to give out the solutions of the questions that hasn't been answered in the interview itself, and then I will tell you about few things that you can work on to improve your chances of getting shortlisted, and then I will give you the feedback of the candidate so that you can better judge yourself also if in case you are going to go for an interview, right? So now let's see the video and then we will talk more later. Sure. So myself Prashant, and I will be taking your interview today. So I have more than 6 years of experience working with Java and other technologies. Currently, I'm working as a senior software engineer in a product-based organization, and I have seen your resume, and it's pretty good. So this was brief about me. Can you brief about yourself other than what is written in your resume?
Yes, so
Okay, and why are you looking for a change?
so there is no any specific reason. So the reason why I'm looking for a change is like from the last one more than 1 year I'm working with this company, and the
Mm-hmm.
project which I'm working is there I can see the learning has stopped on a daily basis. I'm doing a repeated kind of work. So what I feel is, so at this stage there should be a learning everywhere, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
so because of the better opportunity, I'm looking for a switch, and there is no any specific reason at all.
Okay, so what is your current tech stack? What is your current technologies being used in the project?
So okay, the tech stack that we are using, like Java primarily we are using for development, for
Which
developing the
version?
microservice 11,
11. Okay. And
and for deploying the application we are using AWS, using Docker, Jenkins, and Kubernetes,
okay.
and for testings we are using JUnit, Mockito, Karate, and some E2E testings. We are using multiple frameworks, and
Okay, so have you worked on microservices yet?
yes, we are currently deploying and working with microservices only.
Okay, okay, you are deploying that. Okay, then and any ORM tool yet that you have used?
Yes, we have used like JPA, but not in this project we are using. So,
Okay, JPA is not an ORM tool, but that's okay. So you have exposure to JPA, and
so implementation wise we can say Hibernate,
okay,
but
so you
overall
know
if you are
Hibernate.
using, so JPA we have used. So ultimately it is using Hibernate for the implementation, right?
Not exactly. JPA by default uses Hibernate, but we can change that.
Yes, we can say that, but by default, most of the projects are using Hibernate only. We can use top link, exit links, multiple vendors are there.
Right. That is why I was asking, like, if you have worked on Hibernate, because we can change the default functionality, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then that's good. Okay, then let's proceed. So this interview is going to be divided into three parts basically. First is going to be your Java and Spring knowledge.
Hmm.
Second is going to be your Hibernate knowledge or any database knowledge. And third is going to be a small coding question. It's not going to be a big one, it's a small one, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
I'll start by asking you, uh, how will you rate yourself in Java and Spring out of 10?
So as per my experience level, I would say in Java, near about 7, 6 to 7.
Okay. Okay,
With that.
but that is not related to experience. It's up to you, like what you have learned.
7, I would say. 7 till
Okay.
7, I am comfortable. And same in Spring, mainly Spring Boot.
Okay, I have asked you the rating because I will be asking you questions based on that. If you have said 6 and 8, the questions will vary, right?
You understood? That's
So,
why I said.
okay, okay. Okay, then let's start with basics then. What do you understand by abstraction?
So abstraction generally means what we are doing. We are hiding the implementations from the users. So in the background, what we are doing, they are not totally aware of. Only if they are just suppose they are going to pay a
Hello?
bill of a payment system. So behind how to use this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Okay. Okay, I did grasp few things, and I think that's okay with me. So, how do you
Yeah.
achieve abstraction?
So for achieving the abstractions in Java, we have two ways. Either we can go with the abstract class or by using interface.
So, how will I decide which one to use?
There will be some scenarios, so I can relate you. So let me give you one scenario. So
Okay.
suppose you are going to implement an application, suppose a banking applications.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that implementation will be used by multiple existing banks already there in the market. So we are thinking that for every bank, like deposit money, withdrawal money, this type of functionalities will be same only. Most of the cases, like if you are
Mm-hmm.
entering 500, then it should return 500. You are trying to deposit 1000, then it will deposit. So in that scenario, there is just one more situation called like interest rate for loan agreement or something. For each and
Mm-hmm.
every bank, their interests are different. That I know.
Mm-hmm.
So in that scenario, what we will do, we will create a abstract class. Okay, and
Okay.
for uh, like depositing money and for withdrawal of money, we will directly implement the implementation there only. Okay,
Okay. One question.
and
Why not interfaces here?
because interest, the method which are going to calculate the interest, that will be different for each and every bank systems. Okay, so
Okay, we
instead
can
of create
override. Oh, we can override methods, right?
uh, so let me complete myself. So instead of doing multiple implementation for multiple classes, withdrawal and
Mm-hmm.
deposit that we are know, that will be same only. So instead of implementing each and every classes and providing the implementation there, we will directly implement in the abstract class, and that interest calculation method we will leave it abstract. So based on the back interest calculation, they will implement by their own. So in that
So,
scenario,
with Java 8, we have default and static methods. Are you aware about that?
yes, yes, I know.
So, if I have default method in my interface, uh, will that suffice a requirement?
Actually, why default has been added? It's like for the backward compatibility.
I know,
Suppose
I know. Question is that you said we will have common functionality of for interest rate. So that is why you are using abstract class. But if we have interface, we have a default method there, then it is also achieving that. Then why abstract class?
so default, in case of default, I think I'm considering the scenario prior to the Java 8 also. Okay, but
Hmm.
in the today's scenario, we can go with the interface also. Directly, we will implement the default. Declare is a default, and the interest calculation we will leave it. So that will also
Okay,
fit.
then sure. Then let me ask my question one more time. In which scenario you will use abstract class and in which scenario you will interfaces? You have told me a scenario where both abstract classes and interface can be applied. So what I understand is most of us developers are using interfaces a lot, but not abstract classes. So why abstract classes there in Java if we are not using it?
So abstract class and interfaces were introduced before the implementation of the default implementation in the interfaces, right? So
Hmm.
I am just giving you example considering this scenario. So suppose there is no default implementation and you are working with Java 7. Then in that
Hmm.
scenario, what you will do? So this scenario will be covered by interfaces.
Okay, so let me give you one more scenario then. You are working on Java 11.
Mm-hmm.
So it's much greater version than Java 8, where default and static methods are introduced. So can you still talk about scenarios before Java 8 in that case? Like, can we still work on that? Or should we more focused on what is happening with newer versions?
I cannot remember right now, but the in the real implementation, most of the cases we are going with the interfaces. We are trying to
Hmm.
avoid abstract class as much as possible. But when you are working with interfaces, then suddenly a scenario will come. Okay, in this place, it's good to apply abstract. Currently, I cannot explain that one because.
Okay, okay, no issues. Actually, if you cannot answer that, that's okay. We can move ahead with the other one. Okay.
Hmm.
So, okay, now let's come down to interfaces. So, with Java 8, there were new functionalities, abstract, like with default methods and static methods. What is the purpose of having static methods? How will it help us?
Static methods. Okay, so default static, I think we cannot override it, right? Uh,
Okay, if we override, will there be any compilation error?
it will hide it, right? You cannot override the static method. It will completely hide the implementations.
Okay,
As per the concept we know.
so it will not give any compilation error, right?
Though I don't have like I need to see. See, concept wise, it will not allow to override the static methods
Okay, so what
because.
is the purpose then of having static methods?
So suppose there is some functionality which needs to be there, and instead of
Hmm.
creating or doing anything like directly, we can access that interface methods. So there we can go and directly implement using the static. So directly
Okay,
using the interface name, we can access that.
okay. And can we reference non-static variable from static method?
No, 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 no.
No, why not?
It will not allow, right? From the static methods, we are trying to access non-static. It will not allow.
But there must be some reason, right, for doing that,
Because static is a part of class level, right? And
right?
non-static is a part of object reference. Then how they will allow to access it?
Okay,
Unless
that
and
was the
until you are
answer.
not.
Okay, let's move ahead. What is a string pool in Java?
So in Java, there is a concept called heap and pool. So when you are trying to create an object of a strings, so by two ways we can create either using new keyword and literals. So they have introduced called string pools to maintain the like instead of creating multiple objects because we know strings are the most used user defined data structure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of creating multiple applications, if that object reference is already present in the string pool, they will not create another object. Directly they will assign it to the existing one. So this is why they have introduced string pool.
Okay, so if I create any string object, where will it go? In heap or in string pool?
It depends how you are creating.
So let's say I'm using new keyword. So now
Both
where will
at
it
both the
go?
places it will create one object.
Okay, and if I use only string s equals to abc, then
It will go inside these literals, means string pools.
and not in heap memory.
No,
Okay, let me give you one quick question. Can you open your chat window real quick?
chat window, yes.
Okay, so there is this string s having value abc, and then there
Mm-hmm.
is this new string using new keyword where we are creating the object also having abc, right? So
Mm-hmm.
how many objects will get created after these
Two objects.
two objects, one in
One in
heap and
the heap
another?
and yes, yes.
Okay, and what will this print?
S1 equal to S2. Uh, H1 it is already there. H1 is already also there.
Okay, sorry, S2, it's not S2, it's S1 equals S.
Understood, understood. I can relate it. So we have there also we have object sequence. Okay, this will correct.
What, you can think about it, let me know.
Mm-hmm. I think true.
True.
Yes, they are
Okay,
trying to identify the data only. I mean content. So in the pool is also there, and by using H2, H1, we can also say it is present in the pool. True, it's a print.
okay, what will this print?
H1 dot equals H2. No, I think it's a print false.
Okay, okay, let's open a quick compiler, online compiler, any compiler you have or IDE.
Yes, I have.
Okay, okay, let's do that. Let's share your screen and then work on that.
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Okay.
Okay, it's not loaded yet. Okay, now I can see your screen. Okay, so let's try those lines that I have written in the chat window. Okay, so you said for line number 7, it will be true, and for line number 8, it will be
False. What I have
false.
said.
Okay, you can write that in the comment also. That for 7, it is true, and for 8, it is false, right? I'm giving you one more scenario that you can write. So after line 8, press enter. Okay, and then let's do S1, sorry, S equals to,
S equals to
no, not in system.out.println, just S equals to,
okay. S equal to
S dot intern. Yep. Now do the same comparison of line 7 and 8. Like you can copy line number 7 and line number 8.
this way,
Now
right?
tell me what, yeah, what will be the output for 11 and 12?
In terms, we are converting object from this pool to heap to pool. So H1 dot enter. Okay. So something different. Reverse is happening here. But suppose it is coming up into this. This is heap memory. Okay. Now H1 equal to go to S2. It is coming. H1 dot equals. Then it will
Okay.
be just opposite.
Okay. Are you sure about this, right?
Let me think one more time. So here H1 equal to H1. This is string pool, and here also it is creating two objects. So and here we are checking the reference. Reference
Okay,
should be
let's run it. Nawaz, let's run it.
this is totally confusing every time. I know answer will be totally different.
That's okay. So you can see
See,
that
reverse is
it is
coming up.
right. So let me ask you, what does intern method does? Right now you can see the outcome. So what do you think intern method is doing right now?
Intern method, what exactly it is doing? So I can remember. So either
Hmm.
from the pool to heap or heap to pool, it is converting. Right?
Okay,
This literal
let's
will be
take a look.
converted type of
Okay,
object.
let me give you a hint. At line number 5, we have created a string s, right?
Yes,
So is it a object or a literal?
it is a literal.
Literal. So here at line number 10, we are, so where do we store literals? In heap or in pool?
Pool. Usually we use to store pool.
Pool. So at line number 10, we are converting pool to heap, right? You can see that it is already pool,
Yes.
right? So there is only one option here. So that is your answer for intern method. And here you can see something is happening, so you have to figure out few things on your own. Try to come up or debug few things to see where exactly it is being stored and why it is different than what you were thinking. Okay, now let's proceed to another question. So have you worked on stream APIs or Lambda expressions?
Hmm. Should I remove this?
Yeah, you can remove this. Okay,
Okay.
so let's assume there is a list of integer. So let's create a list of integer 1 2 3 4 5.
Hmm.
That is also fine. Okay, now what you have to do is this list, you have to filter out. You have to filter this list and you have to get the elements greater than 3 and print the rest. Okay, now what you have to do is you have to let's say you have an object of type student.
Hmm.
Type as in you have a class of type student. You don't have to write it, just assume it. This is not this, you don't have to run, you just have to write the line what you think will work. So there is a
Okay.
student class, and in
Hmm.
that student class you can write what a student is having inside. Press enter in a comment, single line comment,
Name.
student name ID, that's it.
Sorry.
Okay, you have to group these
Hmm.
students based on uh, their class number. Let's say there is one more class ID, maybe
Class.
ID. So
Hmm.
how will you group?
So we have a list of student object and we need to group them.
Right, right, based on class ID.
So we have function I think inside this string.
Okay, let's try that.
So, so string we have collect I think collect
Mm-hmm.
will be collectors. Which method is there I know. Group thing by yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is taking what integer. So suppose object is coming up from here. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So list of object is coming up. So based on that, suppose every object is coming in X. So we will be grouping by X dot class ID, something like this.
Okay, and what will be the type of collection in which you will store this value? What will it return back?
Grouping by again it will return a list of object of student only.
So how did it group? So it is not a group then. If it is just a list, then how did it group based on class ID?
So group means what you are saying. I'm not getting actually. Grouping is
Okay,
what here?
yeah. First, let's talk about. Let's say I have three students. Two students
Ah,
are in class one, and the third one is in class two. So
okay.
how will you provide me this number that two
Okay,
students
okay,
are
okay.
in?
I think this the return type of this will be a map.
Then
Then
what will be the
again we'll
key
have to
value?
go with this. Sorry, what you said?
What will be the key value in that case?
Key will be this one. Okay, and value will be complete object. So
Complete
like
object,
student object. So like we have three object, right? So
right?
two object has class ID 1 1 and third one is having two. So it will show class ID 1 is having two object.
Mm-hmm.
Two students are belonging to class ID 1 and one student is belonging to class ID 1. Here two.
So how will you collect this data? Key value pair.
So again we have to I think we have to collect. Map we have a method called collection dot to map, right?
Mm-hmm.
To map is there. Since this complete implement this is not there, so I cannot generate that. Let me show you. The stream dot collect something we will collect like this. To map. After grouping we will collect it as a map. We will provide here key and student, something like this. Key will be our class ID. That is possible. We can do it.
But here you haven't grouped yet.
We
And
have to apply the. I think we have to write
and
the code implementation there only.
okay,
Approach wise, it will work the same only. Like first we will be collecting it, grouping it. Okay. Then we will be collecting it as a map by providing the ID as a class ID and the complete student object at the value.
okay, okay, okay. Then what are the types of immediate operations in a stream?
Immediate, intermediate, what?
Intermediate. Yeah.
Uh, See, here only I can see.
No,
So,
types of type.
okay, types of like what you are saying actually consumer we have, predicate we have, and functions we
Okay.
have.
Let me give you a hint. What is the difference between stateful and stateless operations in Stream API?
Stateful and stateless. Stateless means it will not store any state of the operation what has already happened. So
Okay.
like
What?
filter is like maintaining
Mhm.
state. So
Okay.
after doing this filter operation, what we have to do? So filter is a kind of intermediate operation, and in a string, anyhow we will have to apply the terminal operations. One is called filter, so intermediate and terminal. These two things
Okay.
I can remember.
And what will be stateful?
Stateful, see, concept-wise, it is like it is maintaining a state of each and every application, every object at each and every step. What exactly is modifying or changing?
So any example of that operation?
Stateless,
Stateful.
stateful, stateless, I can say. Stateful. So here in this list of, so suppose we have list of object, right? Students, list of students we have, and we are modifying this object like, and each and every state we are modifying the ID. Suppose ID we are multiplying by 2. So it will be a kind of stateful,
So what is the
stateless.
operation here? There is no operation here.
No, 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 I'm not getting them.
Okay. So you said filter is stateless, right? Filter operation is stateless. So according to you, is there any operation which can be stateful? If you don't know, then we can proceed ahead.
No, no, I'm trying to just remind myself.
Okay.
I'm not getting. So stateful and stateless we have used in the case of HTTP response and request. There we are discussed. But in the, I think in the case of streams, we have first time, I have first time heard about this state and stateless.
Okay. So
Might be
let
I'm
me
not
give
aware.
you, yeah, no issues.
I'm not aware.
Sorted is one operation.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Let's move ahead. Why is stream lazy?
Why is stream lazy? Question is why is stream lazy
Right.
or the stream operation is lazy?
Streams are lazy actually, not operations, you can say, but streams are lazy.
No, I don't have any idea. But assumption was I can say why it is lazy because it is processing one by one. Okay, in a kind of like pipeline, like a water is flowing through the
Mhm.
streams. The similar way here the operation is happening. So this might be the
Okay.
reason. But
Okay.
exact
Okay.
answer I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. No issues. Okay. Let's proceed ahead. Have you worked on collections yet?
Yes.
Okay. So how will you differentiate between array list, linked list, and hash set? You can write
Array
that down
list.
also. Array list, linked list, and hash set.
This thing I know. Array list.
Linked list and hash
Linked
set.
list. Accept. Okay, so since in the case of array list, so the main scenario is if the operation is like most of the time you are doing some access or random access kind of things. Suppose
Mm-hmm.
you have loads of data and your operation mainly consists of fetching the data very frequently. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
not modifying your data very frequently. So I would suggest in that scenario we should go with this array list because this implements random access interface or something is there interface. So in that scenario the operation will be very fast. But in the case of but suppose your operation is mainly handling like modifying the data. So in that scenario, linked list will be good because in the case of linked list, only we have to change the reference here and there,
Okay.
connecting node, disconnecting node. So in that
Mm-hmm.
scenario, deleting and modifying operation will be very fast in the case of linked list. And hash set, where we have some mechanism called hashing. It means some key against that you are trying to store some values. So in that scenario, hashing will be good. Suppose you are
Okay.
maintaining a notebook or contact details. So every number should be mapped to against some name.
Okay. Can you come again? What is hash set good for?
Hash rate good for?
Yeah, like you
So,
said, yeah, linked list is for like good for modifications. What is hash set good for?
so in the case of hashing, suppose against a key, if you are maintaining some object,
Okay, but hash set only stores one value, right?
one value, but inside that it is creating a linked list, right? So against a one key, it is creating a
Uh,
linked list.
okay, hash set internally creates linked list.
Uh,
You're saying
people
that.
say,
Okay, okay. Okay, so how like hash set is like I know that hash set only contains unique values, right? It doesn't contain duplicate values. How does it maintains that? How does it maintains uniqueness?
using hash code and equals method.
Okay, but how?
So suppose there is a hash set, right? And if you're trying to store a particular object, so first the hashing mechanism will be applied, and based on that, it will calculate the hash code. And
Okay,
based on that,
how does hashing mechanism gets applied?
that is internal process that I cannot explain right away. But I know for each and every object, it will calculate the hash code, and based on hash code, they are calculating some values. And based on whatever the result is coming up, it will try to map the bucket number. So suppose we have created a hash set. So the initial size will be like 15 or 16. 16 I think is there.
Mhm.
So suppose has after applying the hashing mechanism, the number is coming up one, then that value will be come to the bucket number one. Against a key, we will assign the value. And
Okay.
again, if the same object is coming whose hash code after calculating the value, the same
Mhm.
bucket list is coming up, then what will do? It will create a linked list and keep on adding. So based
Okay,
on that
so
is
it only insert into linked list when the hash code is equal. Are you saying that?
hash code is equals. No. Hash code may or may not be equals. Right?
Okay, they cannot be equals. Okay.
Uh,
Okay. So let's write a logic then. Let's say there is an employee class.
mhm.
Let's write that thing employee, and it is having ID, name, and salary. Don't write employee. Just write in the comment that there is an employee with ID, name, and salary.
Okay.
Okay. How will you check that two employee objects are same or not?
ID,
Name and salary. and you have to store this in your hash set. So there is a set of type employee,
Hmm.
because set only contains unique values, right? So there
Yes,
should
right.
not be two employee objects, two same employee objects.
Hmm. So in that scenario, we will have to override equals as well as hash code.
Okay, what you will write there?
So I will take the help of this ID.
Mm-hmm.
So if the ID is coming up different, then it will return a different hash code every time.
Okay, and what will you
If,
do in equals then?
equals, it will be like when fetching the data. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
when try to fetch the data from the hash set, we will try to validate that key with whether it is equals to the given key or not.
Okay, so for fetching the values we use equals method.
Ah,
Okay, okay, okay then. Okay, let's move ahead. So what is concurrent hash map?
concurrent hash map, that is a part of concurrent utility package.
Mm-hmm.
So so in the normal hash set, like when we are doing concurrent type of operations like adding the data, modifying the data, then in that scenario, the normal hash set class will throw an error like concurrent modification exception. It is not allowed. At the same time, you are adding as well as you are fetching modifying. Okay. So to overcome this
Okay,
process, they have introduced called concurrent hash map. So in that, what is happening is like they are using, they are not completely blocking all the objects completely, but instead of that, they are using bucket level locking. So
okay,
by using that, it is possible. Like at a time, you can delete and modify or add the same object reference. It will not throw an error.
okay. Bucket level locking. And what is a segment in concurrent hash map?
That segment is called bucket.
That
So
segment is called.
they are used to
Okay,
block the part of the hash map bucket that is called segment.
okay. And how many, like, what is the default size for this segments? Like, how many default are being created there?
16, I think 16 is the total initial capacity of the hash map.
Okay, 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 okay. Then, good enough. So now let's come to Spring and Spring Boot. You said Spring Boot, right?
Yes.
Okay. So,
But it's
what is conditional on missing bean annotation?
conditional on missing bean. Conditional on missing bean.
Yes.
Uh, conditional on missing bean exceptions or I think suppose you have injected a class but you have
Mm-hmm.
not created or annotated that class. In that scenario, they will try to inject, but at that time they won't be having any like bean. So in that scenario, it should throw conditional or bean missing exception. One is called
Okay.
no
Okay.
unique bean exception. Huh? I think this is correct. There is another concept
Okay.
called no unique bean. Hmm.
Okay. What is dependency injection?
Dependency injection means instead of creating object, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
during the runtime, we are saying, okay, during the runtime, this class needs to be injected in this class, and that will be taken care by the application context of the Spring. Like AutoWire, we are doing AutoWire of services in the controller, so that is called a Spring uh, injection. So
Okay.
here what exactly we are doing? We are injecting service class into the controller that will be taken care by this application context during the runtime.
Okay.
And to
How
facilitate
to?
this facility,
Okay. Yeah,
sorry,
that is good. Good enough. Okay. How to disable a specific auto configuration?
I think disable auto, we can exclude that particular class using the exclude into the component scan or in the at that Spring Boot applications. We can say, okay,
Okay.
during the runtime, you can exclude this class for auto scaling.
Okay. 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 Uh, what are the possible sources of external configuration.
Possible source. Okay, okay, got it, got it. One is
So
by,
yeah.
I understood your question. So one is by providing the data in the properties file, either in
Hmm.
YAML or Spring Dot property, or by using config server.
Okay. Uh, what about YAML files? Why YAML?
That I said, right? Using
Okay,
properties or
you
YAML
said that.
file.
Okay, so which one is better? Properties file or YAML files?
YAML file is better
Why?
because it creates, it will do, sorry, it provides a more readability, and that is one of the main reason why we are using YAML file. So readability, where we can directly go and see, okay, what is the data is applied for which things.
Hmm.
Okay, so the main reason of using YAML file is the readability. It provides more efficient way of understanding the information that we are providing, and also uh, verbose code we can avoid in the YAML file. Suppose we are providing the username and password of this MySQL driver. We have to write like spring.data source.username.password. But in the case of YAML, we can directly write one spring.data spring data source. There we can provide username password. But in the spring.properties file, we have to write the complete. So same thing we have to write two lines. Understood what I'm trying to say?
Okay, got it. Why do we need Spring profiles?
Since we know before the application is going to the production, so there is a multiple stages that has to pass. Okay, and for each and every stages or environments, we have a different set of data that needs to be tested. So that is the reason we are maintaining profiles like dev, integrations, QA.
Okay. Okay, then let's move ahead quickly with Hibernate. So, what is Hibernate? Let's first talk about that.
Hibernate, I think I have little much of less information, but I can answer that. So Hibernate is a ORM tool by which we can directly associate our Java object to the persistence layer, that is any of the database like Oracle, MySQL, using the drivers based on the type of database that we are using. It
Okay.
means one Java object can be directly associated with the one rows of a data database.
Okay. Are session objects thread safe?
Session object thread set thread tag session object. Yes, because only one session is creating, and on that session we are doing all the operations. Yes. See, I have little
Okay.
less information on Hibernate because most of the time we have worked JPA. Directly,
Hmm.
we are not associating with Hibernate. Only we have this as a part of implementation. But I can answer whatever possible.
Okay. What is the difference between first level cache and second level cache?
So first level cache, I think it is by default enable, and for using the second level cache, we have to provide some external configurations like cache. I can remember. Cache is there. So by using that, we can provide second level caching. Caching means some part of data we are storing for the faster removal and retrieval of the from the database.
Okay.
So suppose we are doing
Okay.
some operation that is
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. I got the answer. What are two types of collections in Hibernate?
two types of collections in Hibernate. Backlog something. I cannot remember right now.
Okay. Okay. No worries. Okay. Can we perform actual tasks like access, persist, and manage data with JPA?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we are using JPA repository. We have JPA repository and CRUD repository. By using that, we can leveraging the facility of persisting, accessing, modifying, because they have complete set of methods implemented there.
Okay. How can we enable Spring Data JPA features?
Spring Data JPA. I think we have
Yes.
a annotation called enable at the JPA annotations. Enable at the JPA repository or something. One annotation is there. We can put.
Okay. 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 Which platform transaction manager can you use with JPA?
So whenever we are adding this library, no, Spring Data, Spring Boot Starter Data GPA. So there is a one automatically one transaction mechanism is enabled. That is taken by the JPA. And
Okay.
if you want to go and attach external or manual configuration for the transaction, then they have provided some annotations called at the transaction where we can use over the either the class level or method level.
Okay. What is
And before
transient annotation?
that is one. So suppose we have a two three fields in a class and we want to persist the data, but we are thinking that some particular field did not to be persisted into the database. So in that scenario, what we will do, we will annotate that particular field at the sorry, we will
Okay.
use the keyword called transient.
Keyword.
Transient
Okay.
is a
Okay.
keyword, right?
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Actually, it is
Transient
an
is a
annotation. It is an
anno-
annotation.
annotations. Yeah, might
Mm.
be something annotations or keyword is there that I cannot
Oh,
remember. But this is the
okay.
way how we are achieving.
Okay. I think we are going above time. So let's quickly do one coding question. So let's write an array. So you can write one comma one two four two.
So,
Okay. Okay. Here you have to find the first non-repeated number.
first non-repeated.
Yes.
First non-repeated number, what we will do, first non-repeated number is cat. Okay, we can take the help of hashing.
Okay. Why linked hash map?
Because see, it will be easy because it will maintain the instruction order. There is no any other reason.
Okay. So linked. So hash map doesn't maintain insertion order.
Hash map?
Yeah.
Yes,
Hash
yes,
map.
yes. Yes, yes, that doesn't maintain instruction order. So
Okay.
in that scenario, it will work. It will not create any issue. Okay. If you are saying I will go with
No. No. No.
that
I'm
one.
just asking.
Okay, okay.
Actually, hash map does not maintain insertion order.
That's why I said, right? Comment.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. 44. New hash map, integer, integer, new type of integer, map, use for loop. This one is sufficient. I'm asking this will be integer, array, if map contains p, 5. If it is containing then put map dot put I and increase the value map dot get I plus 1. If not, if not there then directly put map dot put 5 comma 1. This way it will load the map. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now from this map what we will do for I think we can actually entry map dot entry integer, integer, between set if first non-repeating character, right?
Yeah, first non-repeating.
So map dot sorry ent, entry entry dot get it will be key. Key should be one. Yes. Get key less than equal to one. First non-repeating character into one. I thought entry dot value after printing. You just break the loop. Let's see what is
Okay,
happening.
let's run this. Okay, it's not right?
1 second, 1 second.
There is a mistake on your second for loop. Try to figure that
Uh,
out.
yes, yes. Entry dot get key. Key will be coming up. So sorry, value it will be value should be one. Key will be changed. Value number will be increasing. We are increasing value. Okay, and we need to print the key. Understood, Mr. Value should be equal to print.
Okay, so what will be the complexity? Space and time both.
Ah, answer we are getting. Okay, so here asking me complexity. So here one loop order of n. Here also one loop order of n and order of n space will be order of 1, order of n and order of 1
What is order of one?
space. Since we
Okay,
are not using any other space, right, because only we are using two for loop, there is nothing called nested. So based on that I can
okay,
say it will take order of n time, order of n time. Space I
okay.
think how to define if we are not
Space.
using.
Space is O of one.
No, since we are not using any external space, then how I can say it will be order of 1 or what?
Okay. What about the map that you have created?
This will be order of this will be order of 1 because this is taking space.
So can it be done without using any collection, any map?
I need to check. So this way I directly extract in my mind, so I was able to implement it. That way we need to think. Sorting we can take the help. If we sort them, it will come 1 1 1 4.
How will sorting help?
See, sorting I should it should help me because if we sort it will become like 1 1
Mm-hmm.
2 2 4,
Okay.
and we will take I. Uh, so we can I
Hmm.
not equal to I plus 1. If yes,
Okay.
then return
Mm-hmm.
the value.
Okay. What
But
if there are
uh,
three one at line
uh,
11? There are three one. What will happen then?
yes, right. You are correct. In that scenario, it will fail. So, so we are not allowed to use any hashing mechanism, right?
Not hashing mechanism. I'm saying not
Any
using any
collections.
collection.
Okay, this is the case. I think this it will be little difficult to understand what to do. Using collection, it is easy to do
Okay.
it.
No worries. No worries. Okay. I think I have got everything. Can you go
Anyway,
up
in
a bit?
real time, we are using most of the time collection, right? So I
Pardon?
preferred using this way. I'm saying in the real time project, most of the time we are using the collections. So that's why I have
Um.
written here. There is no any
Okay.
specific reason.
Okay. I think you might be wrong there, because in most of the projects we are also doing optimization. Like we take these kind of things very seriously. Efficiency optimization kind of a stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but this was very small example, also very small logic also. So it cannot suffice anything what I'm saying right now, but there can be bigger scenarios where we have to think of not creating additional collections or objects, because garbage collection can be an issue, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, Nawaz, then I'm done with my side of the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I think even I have learned lots of things from you. The rest of the thing, God knows, but I'm not thinking too much. Whatever I
Okay.
have aware of, I was able to explain.
That's okay. Like it's not necessary. Like if I am asking 10 questions, you have to answer 10 questions correctly, right?
Sorry, your voice
So
was not
that's
coming
okay.
up. So last moment I couldn't hear you. What you said?
Is it okay now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay. I'm saying, like, if I'm asking 10 questions, then it is not necessary to answer all 10 questions.
That's what I said. So whatever I was having, I was able to answer, and not when I directly said.
No, no, that's okay. I'm saying, like, it's okay. There is some
Mhm.
improvement which will always be true for everyone, even me. Okay. Okay, then Nawaz, it was a nice conversation. It was nice talking to you. Good luck and have a good day.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Bye
I
bye.
think we have almost invested 1 hour.
Yeah. No worries. Okay then. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye.
All right. So this is a simple list which I can see that these were the questions that I basically asked to the candidate, and wherever I have written covered, that means that it was roughly covered in the interview. If it wasn't, then let me know in the comment section. I will try to answer them. So let's go one by one. So JP and Hibernate. So I did not want to ask this question, but it got in the way. So not all of us know that JPA by default uses Hibernate, but it's not like we are going to use Hibernate, right? We can choose any other vendor, and I can see nowadays people are segregated. It's not like everyone is using JPA along with Hibernate, right? So it has to be clear that the default vendor is Hibernate, and that is how you are using your JPA. But if you know that you're using JPA, then you have to be familiar with Hibernate, because internally it is using that. Now coming down to rate yourself, so you have to always rate yourself as per your skill, as per what you know. It doesn't matter what experience do you have, right? Because if you have 1 year experience, and if you say that I will rate myself 8 out of 10 in Java, that's good. An interviewer will see that thing as a good thing, because he knows that you are confident, maybe too overconfident, but now he will ask questions related to that 8 out of 10, and then he can judge you better, right? So you have to be truthful, and you have to be confident about your skills. Now coming down to abstraction, so we all know about abstractions, but sometimes we get confused, like when to use abstract class and when to use interface. So scenarios can be dependent on the project that we are currently using. It is not like that everywhere we are going to interfaces and everywhere we are going to use abstract classes. It's not like that anywhere. But the point is that you can differentiate among abstract class and interfaces by using extend keyword and implements keyword. Why? Because with extend keyword you can just extend only one class, you cannot extend multiple classes. So that is a restriction when we use abstract class. But with interfaces we can implement as many interfaces we want, right? So this gives us an added advantage, and this can be a scenario where you can tell the interviewer that here I will use abstract class and here I will use interfaces, right? Because that is good enough. Now coming down to interfaces, so we all know that in Java 8 there were two new methods, default and static. With the static method, there was not a big agenda of having static method in interfaces. It is just like simple static methods that we have in Java. but you have to know if we can override static methods, because we can override. Why? Because there will not be any error. People say that you cannot override. When we say cannot override, that means that there will be some kind of error or exception along with Java. Java will throw some kind of an exception or error showing that you cannot do this, but actually Java doesn't do that, right? So you cannot say that you cannot override static methods, because we can. It will not be overriding, it will be method hiding. It's just that, right? Now coming down to string pool. So in string pool, we all know that it is specifically for string, and we have to be aware about pool area, whether it is string pool or heap area. We have to be aware about that, and that knowledge can be judged easily by giving out few examples, and that is what I did with the candidate. So now let me show you the example, and let me show you like how you can answer these questions better. Okay, so here this is not the exact example, but I did extend it a bit so that I can explain few additional things. So I created two string s and s2 with the same value, and s3 is an object. These two are literals. So you say these things are literals because they mean different thing, and this is also literal, so let's do literal, and this one is an object, right? So this is going to go just at string pool. This is not going to go at heap. This is going to be available only at string pool. Same is the case for string s2. Now for s3, this is going to go at two places, but it is only going to be going to two places when we don't have ABC already available in the string pool. So now we have ABC already available in the string pool. So here only one object is created in a string pool, right? This one will not be created because we all know that string pool is created for that very same reason. So s2 is going to refer to this object. Now s3 would create ABC in a string pool if these two objects or literals were not there, right? But now as we have these, so it is only going to create this object in heap, right? So now we have differentiated these things. Now when we compare using double equals, it is going to compare using memory reference, like at which memory address they are available. So s and s2 are referring to the same object, so this should return true in this case. But s and s3 are at different places because s is only at string pool and s3 is at heap, so this will return false, right? Now coming down to equals method, equals check the equality of the data, whether these two data are equal or not. So s and s2 are equal, so this will be true, right? Now s and s3 are again equal, so this will be true also. Alright, so coming down to this beautiful method intern. So what this method is going to do is, it is going to create a replica, or you can say copy, of the object available in the heap to constant pool, right? So this is not doing anything because string s is already available in this literal in the pool area, right? So it is eventually going to be true here because here we are referencing to the same object, right? And here it will be false, right? So in the interview I told maybe the candidate that this is doing literal to heap. I may be wrong there. I don't remember exactly what I said there, but if it is like that, then I was wrong. And intern method is just to create a copy to pool, string pool, right? So this is that, and here we are just checking quality. So eventually it doesn't matter if it is string pool or heap memory, it is going to be true because it is going to check the quality of data. So yeah, this is that. Now let's move ahead with the next question. So then we started with stream, what is a stream, things like that, like the practical theory, how we can do filter or some sort of stuff like that, which was covered in the interview because the candidate was right there. Coming down to the example which I asked. So there I roughly said that there will be a student class having ID, name and class ID, and what we have to do is we have to group student based on this class ID. So I have this here code ready. So here I have created a student list and there are 3 students. One is in class ID 2, which in maybe in class 2, and 2 are in same class. So if I try to group these, there will be only one student for one group, one ID, class ID, and 2 student for a different class ID, right? So that is what we had to do. So what I did is I first created a list and then I tried to print the data, which is not necessary, and then I created a map. So here what we have to do is we just have to collect using group by, and then we have to tell on which parameter of the object we have to group, and that's it, nothing else. So here we will get a map based on the parameter on which we are grouping and the list. So it will have either one or more values depending on the grouping. So here for ID 2 there will be only one student, but for ID 1 there will be 2 students, right? So let's run this. So as you can see that we have for ID class ID 1 we have 2 students, student John and student Jim, and then we have student Sam in another grouping, which is good, and which is what we had to do. So this was that. So here there can be many questions. The only thing is to practice, and that is how you can be better at Stream or maybe Java 8 basically, right? Just practice a bit. Now let's move to the next question. So then we talked about stateful and stateless. I think this was covered in the interview, and the candidate was right there that stateless operations are the one where we don't maintain any kind of state, and filter operation can be the example of stateless operation. For stateful he was not able to answer, but I did answered him that sorted can be one, because here we maintain the state. And for sorted we have to first sort each and every element, then only we can tell that the array or the collection is sorted, right? So here we have to maintain the state. So that is why this sorted can be stateful. Now I asked one more question which I forgot to put here. Streams are lazy, right? So streams are lazy because our operations are lazy. Intermediate operations are lazy because they will provide you a stream, not an actual output. They will provide you a stream object, and it will only do the computation whenever there is a terminal operations happening. So whenever we do a terminal operation, then only we get the output. So that is why streams are lazy, because we don't do the actual operation until unless a terminal operation is executed, right? So that was the answer there. Now array list, linked list and hash set. Why I asked this question? Because these 3 collections store one value, not a pair, one value. So that is why they are same, but they can be differentiated among the scenario or the optimization or the complexity based on, right? So here the candidate got confused on hash set, like internal functionality. So he was not aware, maybe that is why he was saying that linked list is being used as an internal data structure. So hash map is being used as an internal data structure for hash set, and yes, it stores a key value pair. And how it maintains the uniqueness, because whenever we put a duplicate value in our hash map, so let me take down an example. So let's say I am putting 1 and a, or let's do integers. I am putting 1 2 first, and then I'm putting 1 comma 3. So here the hash map will have this value, which means that this value is going to get overridden, right? So it is actually having only one value. So that is how hash map maintains the uniqueness. Why? Because the already existing value is going to get overridden. It is not going to be like that there will be 2 values existing at the same time. And as you know that set has a constant here, it doesn't maintain any value, just a constant value, and that is how it will only have 1. So that is how set maintains uniqueness. And yeah, hash map is being used as an internal data structure. So you have to be aware about these things, because there are a lot of questions being asked on concurrent hash map internal functionality. Hash map is being the most favorite question topic, but hash set is now being in good demand right now. This was the question: first non-repeated element in an array. The candidate was able to solve, and I'm really happy with his solution, but I just tried to ask like if he can optimize it. But anyways, his coding skill was good. I would not say that he wasn't able to solve the question, and he did it with O of n, and that was good. But the only issue was that he was not aware about space-time complexity, because maybe he's thinking that space-time complexity doesn't matter, because we nowadays have a bigger server environment having terabytes of memory. But the problem with Java is that sometimes we get some uninvited issues like garbage collection issues, and which has to be managed by using a lot of thinking on space-time complexity. Maybe because we are creating a lot of objects, but garbage collection is not actually able to do the deletion of those unused objects. So it can happen in a complex environment. I'm not saying it is very frequent, but it can happen. So we have to think about these also. So now I will give you one solution where we don't have to use any collection. Alright, so this was the solution that I came up with. It can be considered as bit unorthodox, because here I'm doing something bit different. But the question is that if we can optimize it, can it be optimized without using any collection? So yes, it can be. And how did I do it? I had this array, and here I converted this array to a string. So here the string is going to be 1 1 2 3 4, right? Here it is not separated by any space or comma, something like that. It is joined using quotes basically. So it is just doing, first it is creating a string array, and then it is combining string array using join method, right? That's it. So here I have printed the array just for the sake of what we will get after creating this string. Now coming down to the for loop. So here I am iterating the each character. Now these are not numbers, these are characters. So now I'm iterating over each character, and I'm checking if the first index of this character is equals to the last index of this character. So for 1, this is the first index and this is the last index, right? And here we have 2 as the first non-repeated. That is why we are breaking. So we are printing the first match and then we are breaking over. So if I run this code, obviously this is going to work, but let's see. So as you can see here, the string is printed and the output is 2, which is good, right? So yeah, this was the solution. If I was being asked with this question, then I would have solved this way. And I'm not saying that his solution was not good. His solution was really good, and he solved it in a good O of n complexity, so that was good enough for me. But unfortunately the feedback was not shortlisted because of few questions on Hibernate. Like he wasn't aware about Hibernate a lot, and the requirement was specifically on Hibernate. But I did try to ask him few JPA questions. There also he was a bit confused, and about string pool and the basics of abstraction he was again being confused there, and has set internal functionality that was bit unclear for him also. So based on that I had to judge him, and there were only 2 parameters for me to judge him, and that was given to me by the organization. It was not mine. So I had to judge him based on Java and Hibernate, and both of them were having 50% weightage. So his Java score was good, but his Hibernate score wasn't. So unfortunately he couldn't clear the cutoff. So that is why he wasn't shortlisted. So this was it that I wanted to cover in this video, and I hope you find this content as a meaningful content. If not, let me know on the comment section. I will try to improve. So this is it for this video. I hope we will meet in some another video. Till then, have a good day, stay safe, and bye bye.